doing? So today we're going to talk about how to write a book. Now, of course, I am a published author. I'm self-published, and a lot of people actually now ask me, how do you write a book? So I wanted to put out a little video really quickly and just talk about how I came to write my book, and then the simple steps that I usually use in anything that I write. So I hope that this video is really helpful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you decide to start a book, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share everything here that I've learned, and that I didn't know, but that I've learned now through the process. So let's just stick with it, and thank you for watching. I can see the way this is set up. You will laugh at me. Doesn't matter. Back to the topic at hand. So, first and foremost, my book is called #Love Thyself, and I know that's kind of like behind the light or whatever. Oh, that actually works. #Love Thyself. It's a short read, but it is very near and dear to my heart. Lots of lessons that I have learned. Before I give the tips that I've learned, I started writing the book when I was 23. I had just graduated from undergrad, college. I was moving to another state, and there were just lessons that I had been learning really through my late teens and early adulthood, early 20s, that I didn't know were lessons, but there were things that were being sown into me that I didn't quite believe yet. So it was really a journey for me to figure out who I was and to come into a place where I had self-esteem at all. So, it's one of those things you kind of grow up and there's a lot that goes on. And so really my motivation to write my book was because God was giving me these lessons and teaching me these things and showing me these things through His Word and through different situations and through people who were encouraging me. I wanted to put it on paper. Like, I wanted the things that I was learning to help somebody else, and that's really always my goal in mostly everything that I do. I want to encourage people, and I want people to understand that, one, you are special. What you have to offer is invaluable. Like, there is nothing that compares to what you have to offer, because God made you special. One, and secondly, no matter who else is doing something, you have a voice for a reason, and your voice matters. I'm a singer as well. I write, but just because I sing with other singers, of course, but just because they can sing does not mean that I should not, because what I offer is different. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox, but that's why I wanted to write. I wanted to give the lessons that I learned that helped me so much to other people, and that's my mission. I want people to love, and that's all we can do as people, just love. So, to the tips and the tricks. When I thought about writing, I was super scared. Did not know what to do. My mom and my godparents, they were the driving force behind my book, and they really encouraged me to actually put myself out there. So, biggest thing for me was, even before writing, was really just believing in myself, believing that I had something to say that others needed to hear. And it took me well into the years of writing the book to really believe that whatever I had to say was valuable to people. So believe first off, of course, like I said before, believe that what you have to say is pertinent, is important, and is valuable in this world. That's first step. But first actual step for me is knowing your who, your what, your when, your where, and your why. And that's really what a lot of English teachers teach us anyway in school. Who, what, when, where, and why. That's the basic, and how also. But the who, what, when, where, why is really what I based my writing on. First step, who are you? Okay, who are you presenting to your audience? What do you want them to hear? What do you want to say, and what do you want people to get? That's what you have to understand. What is it that you want to give? Step one. In that one of the most important things is, before you decide, not so much before, but while you're deciding what you want people to hear, whatever it is, put it down on paper. No problem. Okay? Here's what I want people to know. Then consider within yourself, if this gets out into the world, because it's that important and because it's valuable, am I okay with what may come from that? So, giving an example, let's say you've gone through some childhood trauma and it's something that you want to write because God allowed you to be healed from it or whatever, and you know that there's parties that were involved, maybe that, could be affected or could have backlash, or whatever. It could be good, could be bad, but there might be some type of something said from somebody or whatever. Are you prepared for what may come of the information that you share? I want this to be very clear. You have to be prepared and okay with, not so much prepared, but you have to be okay with whatever comes once the information is out in the world. Once you release words, even the word says that once you release words, you can't put them back. So put out anything that you want, but you have to ask God for the strength to just allow your truth to be your truth and walk in wisdom when you're putting out information. So that's one of the biggest things. Know what you want to put out in the world and just be ready for whatever outcome it may be. All right, so step one was just write, get it all out, decide what you want to put out into the world. Second step is the who. So that is, who do you want to reach? Who are you representing? Right? These are two things that I looked at very, very closely. And it was kind of hard for me because, again, I wrote about understanding whose I am and who I am, coming into, loving myself more and just all the promises of God. So for me, I could reach anybody, young people, older people, boys and girls, it doesn't matter, for me, but I know there is a population of people that may value the information I'm sharing more so than others. So you can have an unlimited audience, but again, your writing will be focused on a specific population. Your writing will bless a gamut of people, but you need to know who you're writing to so that you can write in such a way that will be able to reach that audience. And then you want to know who you want to represent. If it's a fiction, you're representing those characters. If it is non-fiction, or if it's something that is a real story that's happened, you want to rightly represent what happened in those situations. I hope I'm saying that clearly. You don't want to, if it's non-fiction and it's something that's real, you never want to misrepresent anyone, because then there's, you have to think about legal ramifications of things and stuff like that. But first step, write. Second step, you want to know who you're writing to and who you want to represent. This is my favorite step because I am like a little bit of a nerd. I told y'all that so many times, but I want y'all to understand I'm a nerd, okay? And I love to write, and one of my favorite parts of writing is editing, because I will correct grammar like it is playing a board game. Like, it is so fun to me. So this is the part that is the best thing for me, but it's like the most critical part. You want to make sure that whatever you're putting out People can look at it and not want to correct your writing. I'm just gonna let that sink in. The cat is brown, period. Do not think that you're not gonna miss punctuations while you're doing your first writing session or however many sessions of writing. You will miss punctuations, you will miss words, you will misspell things, you will use the wrong there, and the wrong there will get you, mighty God, the wrong there or they or whatever, the wrong anything in a published work will get people talking about you. Okay? We want to rightly represent the grammatical world. Let's get our grammar right, make sure our spelling is correct. Even if you are writing something that is less, if you're writing slang in your book or something like that, in any culture, just rightly represent that. But the first edit is for grammar and spelling. Do not skip this step, okay? Okay, once you have done step 1, 2, and 3, step 4 and 5 are easy because they're edits. Let's recap. Step 1, what was step 1? Right, you're gonna just write. You're going to write and be okay with whatever you put out into the world. Second step, you are going to understand and be sure who you're writing to and who you're representing. Who you're writing to and who you're representing. Step 3, you're editing for grammar and spelling. Okay? At least how you want it to read. Okay? Step 4 and 5 are edits. So step 4 is your secondary edit, and that is to make sure that the sections of your book flow the way you want it to flow. Making sure that everything that's included in section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are all included in there, even if it does not make sense. Okay? Just make sure it's all included, throw it all in, and if it looks right to you, it's right. Okay? Because you're going to edit again to make everything perfected. Final edit is what the people will receive. I want to, reiterate that. The final edit is what people are going to get. So once you have put in, the time to go through, make sure you have no misspelled words, there's no misplaced exclamation point, there's no missing commas, all that type of stuff, that's done. Now you have in everything about Uncle Billy Bob and Cousin Susie, and you have in the color of this dress and the descriptive word for this whatever activity, and you have all that stuff in there. Now you're going to go through again and just read it as if you're receiving it like the reader. You're just going to go through, and the way that you would read it to that person, if it doesn't sound like that, you might want to go back to the first edit and just start going through again. Making sure that you are rightly represented in your work is super important. Even if you don't write it the way that I did mine, you want to make sure that you're rightly represented. So if you want it to be sequential, make it sequential. Make sure that all your pieces are in place. If you want it to be talking about childhood and then jump to adulthood and come back to childhood, or if you want it to go from this character to this character story and that whatever, however you want it to flow, that final edit needs to reflect that all of those things are in place. This is when you have to go back with an analytical eye. You might want to get somebody to look over it also, somebody that you trust that is that knows what your goal is and what the purpose is, that can just look over it with fresh eyes. Allow someone you trust to look over your work. You want to make sure that it's not so much a journal entry, if it's not a journal entry, and making sure that it will reach people. I hope that is communicated clearly. Yeah. Just have somebody you trust. Look it over. Whenever you are satisfied with it, no matter what tips that you take or tips that you don't. If you decide to write it a different way, by all means, but just make sure that you know who, what, when, where, how, and maybe why. And all of these things will come together. At the end of the day, what you put into the world is so important. There is a lane for you, and it is yours. So run with it. I hope that all of these things have helped. Even if you're not writing a book, whatever you want to do, just, it could be writing a play, it could be starting a business, whatever. And I'm no expert, but will always give you what I have. So whatever you want to do in your life, you can do it. The Bible says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I believe that 110%. Is in Psalms 139. If I'm wrong, comment below and tell me. But you are fearfully and wonderfully made, which means that you are unique and you were specifically created for what your purpose is. So whatever you want to do in your life, positive, walk in that. Pray about it, jump, even if you're scared, because trust me, I didn't want to write the book because I was scared. But just run with it, because sometimes that fear is what you need to help you run and to help you soar. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these helped you. And if you have any questions or comments, comment below. Love you so very much. Remember to love God. Love God, because He is the one that gives us real love. Love yourself. Not in a selfish way, but appreciate who you are. And remember to love other people. Without this love, we can't get through life. I love you. Bye-bye.